Hey, it's Cody. I'm about to make my vlog. This goes with my blog about identifying plants, and this one is the 3 trees. So that's post oak, cedar, and live oak. So I'm out here and I'm gonna walk around. I'm gonna tell you trees, I'm gonna tell you what their bark looks like, and I'll tell you what I said in my blog, but a little bit more since it has to be 10 minutes. So here we go. Here's this first one. A big old cedar, really tall, really tall. So I'm gonna walk over to it. All right, so if you look closely, this is what cedar leaves look like. See, and they're very pointy. They're all tiny little individual like pokey things, and also their stem is very pokey, although you probably can't see. And so this is what their limbs look like. The bark is very thin and long and narrow, and it comes off pretty easy. And the branches, super thin but super strong. And see, these are broke off, probably because they're old, because they're closest to the ground. And then they're just they're parallel to the ground, pretty much parallel to the ground. And here is this cedar tree, very big. Probably really tall. Probably at least 30 feet tall, I would guess. But I don't know, I'm not that good with distance. So, like I said in my blog, the way they smell really good. So I picked off a little leaf, and I'm being careful not to poke myself with it because it hurt kind of bad. So I'm just gonna roll it up. They smell so good. A lot of people may not like it, but I like it a lot. So another thing about cedars, they have these little blue, berry kind of ball things. And these are probably new because there's not very many on this tree. And they have these little ball things pretty much all through summer. And one time I saw them, I was like, what are those? And I was like, oh, it's a cedar tree. And it has all these little balls. Okay, we'll see here. It's a dead leaf. It's brown with some very old cedar balls. I don't know the correct name for them, so I'm just going to call them cedar balls. And they're all over the ground. All these little dots are cedar balls. So these, I'm guessing they're new because they don't look super old. So there's a cedar tree for you. All right, so next tree, we're gonna go over here. This is a post oak. As you can see, it is not an evergreen. All of these leaves on the ground are post oak leaves. So I'm gonna pick one up, I'm gonna show you. All right, this is not a very good example because this one's all broke and crinkly. Let me find a better one. Here's a good one. So, this actually looks more like a bur oak leaf, but it is a post oak. This is a post oak leaf. That's what a post oak looks like. And someone might say, oh, well, that looks like a blackjack oak. No, difference between blackjacks and post oaks. Blackjacks are rounder and their lobes are very much smaller, but these are distinct lobes on the leaves. Could be 3, could be like this. And this is what they look like during the winter. Not pretty at all. So getting closer, this one has a lot of lichens on it. Probably because all these little branches are dead. All right, so it's a really big tree. It's gonna be really pretty actually when it gets its leaves back. So getting closer. All right, I'm gonna go under some little cedars, and here it is. This is what the bark looks like. Looks like a regular oak, except the difference, this one is very leany, so it is not a very good example, but usually they go pretty up straight, and their limbs are really like, just like kind of like straight out, like almost parallel to the ground, but not really. They don't have to be. So there's a post oak. Post oak leaves everywhere. And a bunch of cedar trees of post oak. There's some live oaks here. And that's where I'm going next, to these little live oaks. So, going over to these live oaks. This is what the bark looks like. Really similar to post oaks. Not very much difference at all. So, actually I'm going to go over here because there's some acorns on this one. Actually, these aren't acorns. They're these balls. Gross on the tree. They're not acorns. I don't know what they are. So, here is our live oak leaf. An oval, pretty leaves, pretty symmetrical leaves. As you can see, they're like, let me pick one. I'm gonna get this one. No, that's not very good. Let me get this one. This one. So, pretty much very even on both sides. Oval, an oblong oval kind of. Has this kind of like mid vein. Then it has these little veins going off to the side. They're not exactly like straight across from each other. They're kind of stacked a little bit. The camera focuses. Ooh. Yeah, there you go. You can see them. Here's big live oak. I love big live oaks. Here's a bunch of more live oak trees. And these are big. You could tell there's a horse. You can tell how old these are because they're so, for one, they're tall, and then their branches, how high they start, is an indicator of how old they are. So, if you might ask, what's the difference between a post oak and a live oak? Let me show you. So, this is a post oak leaf. This is a live oak leaf. There's a very, very big difference between the two. And this leaf is actually from, obviously, a young tree, so it is little. This leaf is from this big tree, so obviously it is big because they are different sizes, different amount of nutrients. Here's a prickly pear, not mentioned in my blog, but there it is. So here is a baby live oak. This came from an acorn. It has just a few leaves you can see. Very bendy. Actually, I'm going to pull this out of the ground. Oh, it's a long root. That's how long the root is. So, somewhere in here, an acorn, probably right here, because that kind of looks like an acorn. An acorn fell to the ground, probably from this tree. Made this root, then it started running along the ground. I don't know why, maybe just, now I feel bad for killing a baby tree, but it only had 7 leaves. So, very bendy. I broke it. Takes not that much force to break it. White bark on the inside. Look, okay, so when they are babies, their leaves are pointy and serrated. You can tell these leaves are older because they're rounder and smoother. So there's this cute little 3 leaves next to each other. Very dark green. This is going to be a nice little tree one day. But it probably actually wouldn't get that big because there's not that much room right here. There's my vehicle. All right, so going over here, I see there's a dewberry, which will be in my next vlog, so stay tuned. Here is a baby cedar tree. For some reason, these are dead, probably because this bark is stripped, so it might be damaged or something, or it just didn't want to live. So, this is a very good example of the points. See? Yeah, pointy. You don't want to run into one of those. Here's another cedar. This one Oh, actually, this one started right here, broke off by this live oak. Don't know. There's a bunch of little cedars. Here's one, and I'm wearing purple pants and green rubber boots. They're my favorite boots. Oh, dewberries. Stay tuned. See you next vlog.